I think there's two like proverbial questions that people who have been competitive runners are used to hearing, which is how fast is your mile time and are you ever going to run a marathon? And I was always prepared to answer the first one, but not the second one. But now, I guess I am. I was in 4th grade, I think, when I first started, and I have very vivid memories of running with my mom around Red Bank in the summertime, just near my house. She just always encouraged me to stick with it. I think she knew the value of running way before I did, and it's kind of what I know about it now. It had always been kind of an outlet for me in high school, like a stress reliever, even though it was difficult. And then in college, kind of conversely, it became a stress inducer, and I didn't feel as much, I didn't feel like it was helping my mental health as much as it was hurting it. And it actually wasn't until I ended up quitting the team at Columbia at the beginning of my senior year that I started to love it more again, because I could really kind of do it, you know, by my own rules. It was never on my radar to run a marathon, but when I saw my friend run it in 2018, I was really moved by the event itself, just kind of seeing, you know, people of all different ages at the finish line, you know, just celebrating with their families. It was very emotional, and I kind of like, you know, I thought to myself, oh, maybe I could see myself doing this, but it really was not in any way, shape, or form something I thought about seriously. I would say that the marathon was kind of a COVID-induced ambition. I don't think that I wouldn't have run a marathon had COVID not happened, but I maybe would have waited another couple years. I did a couple other smaller races, like through a running team that I've been with in New York, but they were all shorter. You know, like I did like a mile and I did a 5K, but I really don't know. I kind of just, like most people, do a half marathon at the very least before. And prior to running the marathon, the most I'd run in my life was 10 miles. It was undoubtedly the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. I've run a lot of races since 4th grade until now. A lot of like prestigious races, a lot of high stakes competitions that had a lot on the line. But nothing compared to how difficult the marathon was. It felt great for the first probably 17 miles, and then when my IT band flared up, that was the worst because I still had to look ahead of myself and be like, wow, I have another 9 or so miles to go. I wanted to walk. I saw other people walking. I was in serious pain on the left side of my body, in my hip and my knee, and I just all I could think about was how much more I had left, but I didn't. And even though I slowed down, I dug deep in the sense that I was mentally having a hard time with the idea that I wanted to stop and walk. But now, knowing how I felt when I did eventually stop after it was over, I'm glad that I didn't, because I don't think I could have picked it back up and started again. Part of the reason that I didn't stop and walk was because I knew I had so many people tracking me on the app for the marathon, and I was thinking about like how I owed it to them, how I owed it to my friend Tommy, who I was running in honor of, because he had had cancer when we were kids. Even though I'm not as fast as I once was, even though I'm not running in really competitive races anymore, I think I'm at a place where I know a lot more about myself than I did 5-10 years ago, and a lot of that has come through in the way that I run and I approach my training. And a lot of that is the result of the people in my life. It would be a really lonely life and experience with running if I didn't have, you know, the people that I do to come to races and to send me good luck messages and to check in with me about how things are going, whether it's running related or just life related. So I think having a support system, and that's why I think I love the marathon so much, is because there were thousands of people out there who I didn't even know, but it somehow felt like they were part of my support system and I felt like I was part of theirs, which is a feeling I had never found in a race before. It wasn't about like competitiveness, it was about support, which I think is something that in a sport like running you always have to be chasing. So.
Okay, we're done.
Oh,